Wow. Welcome back, everybody. Such powerful messages coming there from Robbie Bob. Big shout out to this guy. Make sure I had to point the right way with a switch. I'll get to talk to Robbie, and it's just such a fun story. And I heard him say just win. Well, he's winning right now in the series.
Yeah, his whole thing. I love that during that interview, he kind of was just talking about like the school brought me to win, right? Like I'm a student first, but then I'm also a player in the program, and my job is to win. And not only did I do it once, but I did it twice. And the winning is cool, like the trophy, the ceremony, those are all cool, but my job first is to win. And he's definitely doing that this time, at least in their first game here in the series. And I mean, I just love Robbie Bob, man. He's been such a pillar of the community when we talk about Tier 3 and Tier 2. So I heckin' love Robert Bobbert, man. That guy's I did have to cut down into 7.5 minutes, an hour worth of talk. There's a lot that didn't make the final cut.
Yeah, I remember you sent me the screenshots like, all right, finally done. And I was like,
56 minutes. That's literally no editing. That's just all the audio. That's just all the audio by itself. So I had to do some work. I had some help, but
yeah, well, a lot of words from Robbie Bob. Now he's in action-oriented mode, and so are UST. Looks like we're ready to get into this game number 2 draft, and the big question becomes, what does SLU look like now on that blue side? They had the side selection. They have a blue side draft prepared, and like you mentioned, what does it look like? Where do you want to slot Surdy into this draft now on the flip side?
And we also have to start thinking of the bot lane meta, right? Because the first pick for UST coming into that first game was Varus. Varus ended up becoming a problem, but I think it was, again, more symptomatic of some other issues that SLU were having, mostly in the fact that they were not really able to find clean engages and specifically stop Trevor from finding picks, right? It was a lot of those fights started with Trevor on the rail, getting onto the back line and setting up for Robbie Bob and for Kenvi to just lay waste to the opponents. So I wonder for SLU how much of an emphasis they're going to be putting on bot lane and what picks are they going to try to go for as we get further into the draft.
Well, the one thing they're going to look to do here is not let Robbie Bob on the same champion. So the Ari does get taken away there. Same ban so far looks like for UST. They did throw TF and Ash bans down like both of those, even if they are still on the red side. But immediately they're looking to cut down on Robbie Bob's carry potential, and then they're still just not going to let Kenvi play that Kingdred. And then do I have to do the Skarner bit again? I mean, there's a reason why this guy needs to be banned.
Funnily that it's actually first banned on blue side. This is a champion that we're typically seeing on red side, especially if you can try to first pick it. It has a lot of options. So here for USC, sticking with similar bans. Jinx, Ashe taken away, Twisted Fate as well. Here for SLU, I mean, Varus is still open, so I don't see the reason why you wouldn't want to go for that. Or if they really want to try to throw it down on their opponents, I think a Lucian could be on the table here, but instead going for the marksman there.
Yep, same B1 that UST committed to from the last game. We'll have Aaron rocking the Varus. Obviously, very flexible with what comp you want to go for, which is why it makes Varus such a great B1. But you mentioned the Aphelios last time we were in the draft, and looks like Array is going to answer with that big-time scale threat here for UST.
Array, very, very proficient on this champion, and obviously we talk about late-game team fights. That's something that we will be trying to look for. Now the Nautilus here, good setup for Trevor to be able to find fights. And for SLU, I'm wondering not only what kind of support are we looking for, potentially we could try to get maybe a Renata here, although double ranged into this may not be super fun. Getting some dive, I think, was actually going to be really, really important. So no longer are we going to try to save Winnie his matchup, just get him something that he's going to be very consistent on, something that also gives him tools to engage, because while Trundle, like we said, was the counter, had the matchup into the Olaf, was it going to give them enough tools to actually start fights? Answer ended up being no. So now Winnie kind of given himself the keys to the car. He's like, okay, now I want to be the ignition. I want to be the one that starts us on our fights.
Yeah, I like it. Only one game of Vi from Winnie all CLOL season long, but it's been a champion that so many junglers have loved to pick here. So there's not a proficiency issue at all here for Winnie. We get to see the Scion come back here. So I guess Porsche is just on Scion duty. I mean, hey, it looked rough in the early game, but he accomplished the goal he needed to. He became the tank that was unkillable, found that really good flank at the end game fight. Why not?
That's what I'm interested in, especially if you are SLU. You know that you're going to have either going to have to force Porsche to blind his top laner or just try to give him counter to still play Sion. Something that we have seen from SLU time and time again is them indexing on this Rumble. Now, Rumble could be a flex. When we're talking about our deep jungler champion pools, Winnie hasn't quite pulled out the Rumble, but we have seen it a little bit in support, and I wonder if Skytech, during his time off, was going to be, something that he picked up, considering how lane dominant Skytech does tend to be, and him really cooking up a lot of different lane counter picks. He was one of the people a couple of years ago, I'm sure Grapes would remember this, his Vi support that he pulled out really early on into Proving Ground. So kind of interested to see what we get from UST as we finish out the second phase of bans. The Galio ban I think is really interesting, but we're going to get Jarvan here for Kenvi.
Yeah, we talked about how Robbie Bob loves to facilitate. Galio is such a great pick for that. Love that ban. Once again, though, UST they're targeting Darkwings, but they're leaving up his Azir. They're certainly comfortable playing into it over that Tristana, so we'll see if that's the pick Darkwings goes to round out the blue side comp, but that Rel getting locked in does likely mean that's another Surdy Rumble game, and yeah, it's the same solo lanes here for SLU now on the blue side.
Interesting. Picking up the Azir, especially if you're going to ban the Galio, I don't think you need to necessarily be afraid of the Galio. It kind of sucks in the laning phase because you don't have that ultimate, but post-ult, it's really easy as Azir to try to keep Galio away. So I was interested to see that being taken away. And now Aurelion Sol. I thought the conditions for the last game were not amazing for Aurelion Sol, but now this time you have plenty of good front line to be able to hold down your opponents. I think Jarvan being a really unique combo does mean that all eyes are going to kind of be on Kenvi early game, seeing what he's able to do on this Jarvan. And you don't have the best amount of mid priority. Azir is going to be able to continue to push the wave versus this Aurelion Sol. And bottom lane, I just don't really see it there, so we'll kind of I'm looking forward to what Kenvi's able to do because we know him to be someone who wants to sit on the enemy camps. He wants to be there to invade, take those camps away. Still
a lot of threats, though, for Robbie Bob's H-Soul as we get on to Summoner's Rift here. Winnie, obviously, with the Vi, has the tools, and Skytech, if we expect any Rel gaming like Trevor had on this champion, will be constantly a threat onto that back line. We are on to Summoner's Rift with a classic fan start. And the one thing I think that really has changed between our two games, even despite the fact we have a lot of similar champions, is, like you mentioned, those junglers. Winnie and Kenvi are now on two champions that want to be active in lanes, don't really care too much about full clearing. A Vi and a Jarvan, once they get that level 3 in their kit, they are looking to affect the map.
For sure. And I mean, honestly, if you really want to be a true degenerate, if you want to be a true Jarvan the 4th degenerate, you just start at level 2. You just go for the level 2 trades here.
How about level 1?
Oh, Winnie get it again?
Yeah, they flash over from Trevor, gets the dredge line. Is Winnie dead this time? Burns flash, level 1, game 1, dies. Level 1, game number 2. And they get that kill onto Kenvi, and they're just going to keep pushing the issue here with the invade. Surdy's going to spot them out, but what can you really do here?
Like, in theory, it's good as long as UST are not there to punish, but why are we even there in the first place? And I think we're actually going to be seeing a lane swap here. So Sion helping his jungler. They're going to find Surdy immediately.
Kenvi, you talked about level 2 Jarvan, Trevor in the brush. This is so well set up from UST, and they just bodied the early game before minions even crashed for 2 early kills.
Wait, now Winnie is over here. He's like, I can take my wolves, right? And Porsche is actually going to be there to leash him these. When he's going to go back down towards the bottom side, Surdy has to be really careful, but instead ignores the lane. He's going to move towards bottom side, get Winnie to start getting an advantage here. And we're getting one of our lane swaps here. We're getting right into it, avoiding the bottom lane matchup here for the Aphelios. It is on hit Varus instead of the going for the poke variety, so going to be a little bit less dangerous in the laning phase, but still, really good job from UST. This early game is going very well for them.
Yeah, reverse of last game. It was all SLU in the early opening minutes of game number 1. Now it is UST. They are, with all their shenanigans topside with the lane swaps and everything you were talking about, they are giving SLU a pretty great lane for Aaron to start out in, like you were talking about with that on-hit. Doesn't need to be a lane bully, is fine just farming up here. And now SLU looking to bite back. This is Sion Gaming, as everybody knows it. Level 1 Porsche just getting dove, looking to find at least one trade. Drop the aggro. The minions pick it back up. This is clinical from St. Louis University, and they're going to give the kill.
Wait, he gets level 2.
Hold on. Yeah, level 2.
He's buying so much time.
Yeah, he gets that big shield. Now they have to bring Winnie over, and I don't even think they're gonna set back up for the dive now. They're gonna have Winnie started, gets the vault breaker down. Finally, Porsche will fall. But like you mentioned, Dog, is it really worth it at the end of the day?
They got all of this time, and okay, Skytech, it is an execute. The timing, I think, should have been for local experience there for Porsche. So he dings over to level 3 alongside still picking up all of that wave. Really, really bad execution there from the side of SLU. They're not able to get that kill early enough. It pulls Winnie over. They now know that Winnie is going to be on the bottom side, despite, kind of taking a guess. Porsche.
All right, he eats the vault breaker. Aaron has the ghost, trying to get a ton of arrows down. Can't commit to the kill just yet, and Porsche, it's a rough lane, but he's doing best with what he's got so far.
For Kenvi, however, he moved into the top side. He should have a timer as to where all these camps are. So should know that that's not available. We're just still doing this. We're bringing 4 people to dive a Scion.
I mean, this is exactly why Porsche wants the Scion. I gotta think he's just smiling and laughing as he stares down 4 members of SLU. Deja vu, Groundhog Day, whatever reference you want to go for it, is Porsche's reality. He will fall once more. Surdy gets this kill as he's gotten both kills onto Porsche. But the question becomes, how much resource is this going to cost SLU at the end of the day?
For Kenvi, he's got to be feeling not all that bad. I mean, he stole away the topside camps, right? And while not going directly onto that timer, he actually gets back 2 of these bottom side camps. If they had executed on that dive in the first place, they would have been able to take at least one of these camps. They already took away the Gromp. They maybe could have potentially played for blue, but then they make a second dive, give that kill over to Surdy, and now lane swapping back here. Their bottom lane is in such a good position. Now they're going to be here first. Array is also going to have the blue gun, so with Infernum, push out this wave, can immediately contest for Dragon.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much of a contest from SLU at all either, so they're going to likely give this one over. This is the one part about lane swapping, is that you just ignore the mid laners, which I think in this case Dark Wings and Robbie Bob are certainly pretty happy about, just trading waves. But what just last cut, not fully game time. The early game of game 1 was rough, but from the end of game 1 to now, UST are just playing with a mission.
Maybe they were just locked in. Maybe they were not locked in for the first 15 minutes. They're playing a little loose. It was their first time, their first game of the day. That could have been the case, but UST getting that first Dragon, and I kind of wanted to talk about this, but we had such an early game kind of kerfuffle. We also had the lane swaps we had to kind of cut to. But Darkwings opting for the Halo Blades in this matchup. Wants to go for a more lane-dominant kind of Azir play, but I mean, he doesn't have a turret plate. He's nowhere near a turret plate. He's also nowhere near a meaningful CS advantage in his bottom lane.
We're very close to some action as the Chakrams come across for Array to get one. Aaron able to flash away, find the trade, but Trevor, never shy, likes his odds. He's going to run right at him, letting the lethal tempo stack, but the Dredge line will find the trade, and the UST bottom lane come up with 2.
Okay, and now even in mid lane here, Robbie, he's going to fly away.
Yep.
He just used the ultimate as well onto Dark Wings there, so thought maybe they could have stopped Winnie, but still, pretty good trade coming out from the bottom lane of UST.
At least you get that, forcing the reset for Robbie Bob does not have teleport, so Dark Wings with that Halo Blades like you were talking about, now we'll be able to shove in a pretty sizable wave and potentially take one of those plates. And we're back to lane swapping again. Array right off spawn is going to go catch the top wave here. And you got to feel bad for Porsche in most scenarios, but this is just Scion.
This is less about wanting to get away from a bad matchup and more so that Array, because he died in that bot TV2, he had a timer to move top, catches that wave, and they can play for grubs here.
Oh, and Trevor wants to play for a lot more here. Gets the flash down. Skytech dismounted, being chased down. Porsche looking for the knockup with the root should be enough, and they're going to gift Array another kill. This scaling threat of Felios online early for UST.
Now, how many plates can Aaron get on the bottom side of the map here? As he is going to be by himself. He got a single grub, but UST are going to pick up 2 for themselves. And they're also able to push Surdy out of the top lane, move in, start to take damage. Surdy doesn't have Equalizer. This is actually a really dangerous spot. He does have Flash, but I think walking up to this wave without knowing where the jungler is, he's on the top side, very, very risky. So Kenvi shows himself early. They're going to grab at least 2 plates here thanks to having Demolish and those 2 extra grubs.
Yep, they pick him up. SLU brought a couple members up top, but like you mentioned, UST are always aware of how much they can really take away here. And they get more gold into this Aphelios. Array is just in such a prime position, and how much we talked about the mid lane matchup, the top lane matchup. getting a guy like Array this far ahead is scary for a ton of teams.
We talk about Array. He was originally on the UST roster when the program was first founded, and then had to step down. I think was playing on another amateur team or potentially even made it. Aaron gets a solo kill onto Scion. We're just going to ignore that because it's Scion.
Yep.
But Array coming in for UST now, a lot of people had eyes. I'm going to have to hold this. We're just continuously fighting.
Yeah, but Array likes his odds here with that green gun. Surdy poked down so low.
Nice shot, Trevor.
Dredge line on the Vault Breaker. Winnie is just caught. It's going to be another kill gift wrapped for Array. 3 early kills on this Aphelios.
When people saw the new UST roster, they thought, hey, Show goes off the roster. I don't think they're making a championship victory, especially with how dominant Maryville have been. But Array, another LCS Academy, LCS caliber player that we're seeing step into the lineup and definitely kind of putting his mark on this game, showing up against Aaron, someone that he did play against in the regular season on Supernova. And I mean, it's like he's not missed a beat. It's like he's always been here with the team. Trevor also making a return. So it feels like a band of brothers coming back in with the newest member really being Kenvi.
Yeah, and what a newest member, like we highlighted earlier in the pre-show. Look at that back, though, from Array here.
No.
We have Dark Wings dodging out on the Fallen Star there, so mid laners just trade whiffed ultimates, it feels like, and nobody's going to fall, but the Kraken Slayer, the point I want to make, already done for this Aphelios with Array.
Similar to Surdy last game, right? We were talking about it when Surdy was on the Rumble in Game 1. He had his completed item at 9.5 minutes. And now for St. Thomas, they've got their 80 carry in a very similar position here. 45 seconds before the Dragon, despite the gold lead, I'd have to imagine that SLU are in a slightly better position here. Their ultimates are available, and my eyes right now for UST are those flash timers. Not up for Array, not up for Robbie Bob. And you still have Winnie with this ultimate. So I think for UST, you're going to be very careful playing around this Dragon. Get your turret plates, get what you can. But this Dragon still, if you're SLU, you should be looking for an advantage here.
Yeah, Porsche does not have teleport on the top side, having to catch those waves from Surdy. Doesn't even have Unstoppable Onslaught available yet, so you can't just run down the river to get down there. Surdy has his teleport. This is definitely a great window for SLU to be able to just jump on this Dragon. We do see Winnie immediately take a reset here. It looks like he's going topside, so Kenvi has a window now for himself in UST.
Interesting. I would have thought, hey, like even if the wave is bouncing towards our turret, guess just took a wrong back timer there for SLU, so it's going to be that second Drake. We'll see what the soul is going to be since it can't be Mountain, can't be Hex Tech. Please be something relevant. Please be something relevant. It's Ocean Drake again. God damn it, man. Can't have any. I mean, that's really good for UST if they can grab that. You do not want to have to deal with Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul ticking on Rumble Equalizer, on someone like Azir trying to do consistent damage. Still very, very good for someone like Array and Robbie Bob.
Yeah, but I was with you there. There were so many more fun options for this game, but we'll get that Ocean Soul back up. Still in line for UST to be pretty early to that Soul if they wanted. And the way they've been able to play this early game, gotta think they're in good contention for it, but we learned either in game number 1, early game leads are not safe, especially one as low as about 1,000.
Great job from Kenvi and Winnie. They both head on towards bottom lane. For Winnie, it's for them to try to find a window, open up something on the map with Void Grubs being up. And for Kenvi, covering for your lanes, even potentially looking for the dive. And actually, by clearing out this Tri-Brush, it looks like they might try to go for this either way. So push the wave under the turret, maybe look for something there. Remember, those Void Grubs being up, it is 2-1 in favor of UST when we talk about the Grubs. And if they can get 2 more of those, looking at them potentially, being able to take a ton of turrets here.
That's Cataclysm down only onto SkyTech, who just casually sits there and waits. Finally flashes over the wall. They really want SkyTech. The Moonlight Vigil from Array doesn't get it done, but the Chakram will. And Kenvi's able to get out. Here comes UST. They like the choke point next to the Drake Pit, and they get a triple over to Array. Game 2, the UST Array game.
He is just popping off. He was already warmed up from last game. He had lethal tempo, but IRL going off for this guy. And now game 2, he is just showing up against Aaron and SkyTech. Aaron and SkyTech, they're a duo that, while we haven't got to see too much of them this year, we have seen them previously play together. And obviously, Aaron and SkyTech, I think, not in contention when we talk about those top 4 bottom lanes for the entirety of Collegiate Championship. But now and here again, like, they still are disrespected a lot. And this time, I think it's a little bit more warranted. Aaron and Trevor are just having their way with them in almost every one of these fights.
Yeah, it is not close. I mean, you've got a bounty on Trevor, who is 2-0-6 on this Nautilus. We do see off the reset, Winnie is able to jump on those grubs. A lot of pings coming down from St. Thomas. Like they want to try and step up and contest. Third one going to be picked up there from Winnie, and yeah, I think he realizes that's all he's going to be able to get for free here.
Oh, he just goes right back in. I mean, everybody, where is SkyTech? SkyTech, brother man. Okay, well, I think he got spotted. He got spotted by Robbie Bob, so this is just going to be a freebie. It's going to be some free Aurelian Soul Stacks. I don't know why Trevor's here. This is actually becoming a slight win here for the side of SLU. SkyTech buying so much time. I mean, Azir's in the bottom lane right now, something that Robbie Bob is not kind of contesting. Trevor moving out of mid lane opens up a little bit of a window there for SLU. Okay, he finally gets taken down, and the timer's not very relevant. I think the biggest potential win here for UST is, can they contest for the Rift Herald here? Because they had push in mid, now they can move over, but Darkwings is now on his way.
4 grubs picked up there for Winnie and SLU, which on the new iteration of them does give at least one of those mites, so not a big gold lead for UST, and like you mentioned, you're able to win a fight, find some success on a side lane. You could just pick up that easy standing goal to get back in, but Rift Herald will be secured there for Kenvi. And now the game starts to hit a bit of a lull here. Only one turret taken on each side, and they're on the opposite sides of the map.
It's a dragon spawning in a minute and a half. We'll see if SLU are going to be looking for it. All the summoner spells are coming up across the board, ultimates as well. This has to be one of the big team fights when we look at Game 2. It's going to be the one that I think kind of sets the pace for the next 10 minutes as we get into this. Finds Aaron
early. I mean, he's just dead. What a pick found for Trevor. The equalizer Surdy has to use purely defensively to get himself out. And Aaron dies for a second time. It's going to give all the river control over to UST.
There we go. They spawn the Rift Tail. They're going to get mid control. They're going to take this mid tier 1. Potentially even escort it or just look for jungle camps now. Maybe even get a reset. It's 40 seconds before. I think the big thing for them is just clearing out vision. Okay, Trevor, we know you're an old-time vet. Do you have the drift skills?
Oh.
No.
Hand stiff.
Okay, SkyTech, what are you... Okay, so SkyTech is trying to find a flank. If you can find a flank engage on Rel, it's great. But if they find him early, or if he gets pushed out, or by the time he gets back, they're not able to make a play, then all this time wasted is really not going to do much. Although I will say, he's playing Rel right now. I don't think he has any other place to be at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but it feels like he's doing a camp out for GTA 5's drop outside of GameStop. That's how long he's going to be sitting here. I mean, he's
actually waiting for Halo 3 to drop. He's there in line. He's got his Marty McDonald themes on right now.
Half-Life 3, it's coming. He's waiting for
it. Yep. In that same time, potentially. No one knows he's there. SLU have done a very good job this game, putting on a lot of deep vision, and now we'll have to see, can they make good on it? They find this pick again.
Yeah, and it's on to Winnie. The flank might not even be a reality. The cease and desist doesn't matter. Array is too powerful, and Trevor's looking for more. Flashes over the wall, grabs Surdy, who doesn't have a stasis. A double over to Array. Robbie Bob looking for more. Aaron can't get anywhere close to the Space Dragon. The breath of life just burning him down. Darkwings will show up, find Trevor, gets him shuffled under the turret.
No.
But Robbie Bob kills off Aaron from distance. Dragon picked up for UST. SkyTech's flank falls flat. SLU just look out of it in this game number 2.
It's like all of them are going for different plays. Aaron looks a bit out of sorts. And Darkwings,
he's dead.
Unfortunately, okay, now they're just going to make this dive. Who cares, bro? Nice flash. GG.
Okay, Surdy's back here, but yeah, he doesn't have equalizer, no flash, no summoners. He can't get close enough. Porsche does not care what Surdy has to say. They're going to re-engage. Equalizer drop down. Robbie Bob does have to flash. The gravity field doing a ton, but Surdy's still flame spinning. Will only find one. It's a trade onto Porsche, who will happily die on that Scion duty.
We have not seen SLU in this game number 2 fire like their game plan that they want, which is put so much pressure onto Array. Flash coming out from SkyTech. Array still has his summoner spells.
Yeah, he has 1,000 gold bounty as well. He's just going to turn, flash over
my
the wall.
God.
Aaron does get the trade, and that's a bit of light there for SLU. 1,000 gold into this Varus's pocket.
Still, 1,000 gold. You also get the flash out from Array. Good win there for SLU. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get them back in, but we haven't seen them do a traditional 5-on-5 team fight. It's been one person caught out before a fight, whether that be Aaron or Winnie. And then Surdy's just standing there like, well, I don't have any setup now for my Rumble Wall. What do I do? So he has to get out of the picture. We need to SLU consolidate. We need to see a lot of those members start to kind of rein it back in. Let's get a clean team fight for ourselves. At least get one. Because if we can get one team fight, we can at least have a basis for saying SLU played like a team in the second game. But UST are, one, not giving them the angles. Trevor so far on Engage has been perfect. He has been really, really good on trying to find openings here for the side of St. Thomas.
And he was an unsung hero on that rel last game, too. Some of those openings he found, I felt like really got them back into that game one. Back to the similar antics as well. And Ulk, it's important to talk about. I mean, just look at the item difference right now, especially between those carries. I mean, Array is 2 full items, basically, at this point, ahead of Aaron.
Yeah. That was also the case last game, but at least we can make the excuse that he was playing fasting Senna, right? Like, you're just not going to get gold in that instance. This time around, I mean, Ray has a bunch of kills. He has 40 up on his opponents. He got a lot of the turret plates and the gold. So UST kind of playing back and forth between their 2 carries, and we haven't really touched on it thanks to the draft, but, I mean, Robbie Bob's on Aurelion Sol. This champion is going to continue to be a problem, and there's not really that SLU, there's not much that SLU can do in terms of their composition, except for force fights. They need to find engages onto Robbie Bob, and there's a small timer here. The next 3 minutes, no flash onto Robbie Bob, no flash onto Array. 2 minutes before the Dragon, I think there's a small window where SLU can kind of fight back, get back into this game, and potentially look for one of these standing objectives.
But it's so hard for them even to find footing here. They can't in their own jungle. Winnie gets pushed out there by Kenvi, and there's just no vision in their own jungle by this point. They have to play so cautiously stepping up by that point because, like you mentioned, this Aurelion Sol is already a problem. Array is way far ahead. You face check one brush, either of those 2 will delete you off the map.
So now for UST, they're controlling the side lanes. Scion by just doing normal Scion things, walk up to the wave, press Q, press W, walk away. And for Aurelion Sol, he drops down his E, and the entire wave is gone. So we'll see if they can make this dive onto the turret. Teleport comes through.
They're going, but they only find the front line. Array gets to safety, drops the Moonlight Vigil. There's a big equalizer and crash down from SkyTech. They have Array pinned. There's the big pick. Darkwings with a massive shuffle as well. But look at Robbie Bob off to the side, just burning everybody down. Glides in to safely knock down Winnie. You put 1 carry in the dirt. UST come back with a Space Dragon of Dreams to just burn through your entire line. It's Robbie Bob again. All the stars shining on him for a quadra kill ace. University of St. Thomas.
That's Robbie Bob, the GOAT, the guy right there, just coming up huge on the Aurelion Sol. The team fight execution was incredibly sloppy there for SLU. They throw down, you have Winnie come in, then he flashes out, then he tries to get the ult in. They finally pick Array, but like you said, the 2 threat comp here for UST. You take down one, the second one rises, and Robbie Bob, returning incoming member for UST, makes good on the promises that he's making towards the program, saying, I want to win, I want to bring them to another championship, and he's doing it here again in Game 2.
I mean, this is just absolutely spectacular mid-game plays from Robbie Bob. Now, his early game in Game 2 was great, but Game 1 it was rough. Still bounced back on that Ari, and now, like you talked about, this Aurelion Sol, unlike Ari, will just become a huge problem. Drake spawns, though. How much does SLU really want to contest here?
I mean, it's Aurelion Sol. The ultimate is almost up. Flashes are also almost up for Aurelion Sol and for the Zephelios.
Oh, and here we go. What a Cataclysm. Dropped down by Kenvi. Have the Graviton Orb just keeping Sturdy in place. SkyTech already burns when he goes over the top here. And here comes the Sky's Descent. Just levels the fight. Darkwing shovels in just too late. And now he's going to bite the bullet. A double to Array. That 2 damage comp stands up strong. UST look unstoppable and looking to go up 2-0 with a ticket to top 4 on the line.
That's going to be the Sol. That's going to be them moving over to the Baron. Surdy trying to find something now. Can he stop Array? It's not enough. Robbie Bob picks up another kill. And honestly, it's a little sad. SLU, they brought in all of these different roster changes. SkyTech returns to the lineup. Surdy bringing in over Vital from last year. But maybe it's just the stream today. Maybe it's just supposed to be history repeating itself. UST 3-0 over SLU last year in the semifinals. Northwood taking a 3-0 over Ole Miss today. I think it might just be history. I think we're just getting a history lesson on that one final test.
You know what they say about history. If you don't learn it, you're doomed to repeat it. And it feels like SLU are really wrapped up in it through 2 games. Kenvi, I mean, he's just toying around with them. What a great flag and drag. Should just buy even more time as the Ocean Soul ticking as well. SLU just feels so out of this game. I don't even know how they get back in.
Oh, they can collapse on this, though. Like, look, they're moving towards mid. Kenvi's moving in. You've got the Aurelian Soul. I mean, Surdy's dead.
Yeah, Surdy's dead. Array, all right, Aaron is able to find a trade there. Surdy actually able to get out as they're focusing Aaron first. Array will pick that kill up, and now it's Kenvi looking for more, playing ever confident how ahead UST are. But it's actually a trade at the end of the day, and I don't know how Surdy got out.
It looks like most of it was because Dark Wings was behind him and kind of shuffling in, making sure that UST have to move in. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
so they
okay.
kill Kenvi, but they invest 4 members, the mid-tier 1, or mid-inhibitor, the mid-inhibitor turret fall, and they're going to move down to bottom lane. So Kenvi, 0-7, you gave up your life, but in the end, UST come up big on the map.
And how about another Scion game for Porsche here? I mean, he's just got to be smiling ear to ear with knowing how much pressure was brought his way, and now all he has to do is just catch these waves on the sides, man, knock down a tier 2 for free. Nobody cares about the Scion anymore, and he couldn't be happier about it.
12-0-7 here for Robbie Bob. And his counterpart, Array, 13-3-8. I mean, we're just looking at the KDAs. You look at the gold that they're able to accrue by themselves. Almost a 9,000 gold lead here for the Celts. And St. Thomas, they're looking to just continue this domination, right? Like 3.5 minutes before the Drake, 4 minutes before Baron. I still think we have not seen SLU fight a conventional 5-on-5. We have not seen them set up Surdy with the Vi ultimate and it actually go correctly. Dark Wings is just dead.
I mean, it's masterful. He cancels the shuffle with the falling star. Robbie Bob, 13-0-7. I don't want to cast a curse him, but I'm pretty certain with the Medjai's purchase last game, Robbie Bob is cruising towards 2 convincing deathless games. Just in another category right now.
He's just the GOAT right now, man. Like, this is just his game, his meta. When mid is full of control mages and stuff that kind of plays out range, that is when Robbie is at his best. Not necessarily these Silas, these Akali metas. It's this right here. So they find Skytech on another insane flank, and it just turns into another kill. So now they're going to be able to grab another turret here. Inhibitor tier 1. They actually go for the end of the game.
Yeah, they might. Trevor's looking for it. Kenvi's very low, but look who they have thrown up in the air. It's Aaron that is staring down this tank Scion that thinks damage is something to laugh at. There goes Surdy next. Dark Wings directly on respawn is going to eat a breath of light nearly to his death. Robbie Bob cruising through. The Nexus turret's down. Skytech on the respawn. It means absolutely nothing. What a 2 games from the mainstay UST mid laner looking for his 3-peat.
Robbie and Array, 30-3 combined between the two of them, putting on a masterclass, and I think, honestly, just showing the skill level, the ceiling that we could potentially see from this St. Thomas roster. Championship bound, potentially. They're here in top 8. It's double Elim here, but SLU, they need to unlock 6th gear at this point. They need to lock in. They were posting all fun on Twitter. They're talking about doing some trash talk versus some other teams, but I think maybe their eyes were not averted to the monster in front of them.
Yeah, Hulk, if they don't figure things out, that team that they were trash talking, they're going to meet in a match that they weren't expecting to be in by this point. So this wacky day of top 8 just continues. University of St. Thomas are on the brink, though, of another top 4 berth with the golden road to glory. The GOAT status in CLOL looking ever so much closer as we throw up those predictions one more time. Yeah, Ulk's feeling great. I'm at least feeling good.
Not
right?
yet. Job's not done. Job's not done. They need to close out this series, and then I could talk.
All right, well, we'll see what that looks like on the other side of a break. We'll hear from a couple of our great sponsors one more time. But the big thing to remember before we get to that Game 3 draft is St. Louis University have got to kick it into that 6th gear like Ulk talked about, or they're going down to the lower bracket.